Welcome to episode 253 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. It's July 11, 2010. Johannesburg, Soccer City. World Cup final. Netherlands against Spain. One country trying to end the story of nearly but not quite. The other trying to begin a new age. The Netherlands had already lost World Cup finals in 1974 and 78. Total football. Cruyff, Neeskens, Webb, Rensenbrink. The orange shirts without the trophy. Spain had the opposite problem. Won European Championship in 1964, a Euro final defeat in 1984, quarterfinals, penalty exits, promise, talent and excuses. Then came Euro 2008, and then came South Africa 2010. And on this day, Andres Iniesta scored 4 minutes from the end of extra time. Netherlands 0, Spain 1. Spain were world champions for the first time, and the Netherlands had lost a World Cup final for the third time. But how did we get here? Start with Spain's contradiction. Spain had always produced footballers, brilliant footballers, but for generations the national team was haunted by what it could not become. They had won the 1964 European Championship at home, beating the Soviet Union in Madrid. That was the old high point. Then came long decades of frustration. At the 1982 World Cup, Spain hosted and disappointed. At Euro 1984, they reached the final and lost to France. At World Cups in 1986, 94 and 2002, the ceiling kept appearing at roughly the same height. Quarterfinals, controversy, penalties, a sense that Spain played well enough to suffer beautifully, but not ruthlessly enough to win. And yet, Spanish clubs were not suffering. Real Madrid had 9 European Cups by 2010. Barcelona had won the Champions League in 2006 and 2009. Sevilla had won back-to-back UEFA Cups in 2006 and 2007. Atletico Madrid had just won the Europa League in 2010. So the question was not whether Spain had football culture. The question was why the national team couldn't turn that culture into authority. The answer began with Luis Aragonés. By Euro 2008, Aragonés made the decisive shift. Spain stopped trying to be a national team built around old hierarchies and old anxieties. Raúl was left out. The midfield became the identity. Xavi, Iniesta, Senna, Silva, Cesc, Alonso. Villa and Torres gave Spain the threat. Casillas gave them the captain. Puyol and Ramos gave them force. And crucially, Spain learned that possession could be more than beauty. It could be control. It could be defense. It could be a way to make opponents chase, tire, foul, and lose patience. At Euro 2008, Spain beat Italy on penalties in the quarterfinal, which mattered psychologically because Italy had often been the type of team Spain could not get past. Then they beat Russia 3-0 in the semi-final, and then Germany in the final. Fernando Torres scored. Spain won 1-0. A 44-year wait was over. Then Vicente del Bosque took over, and this is important. He didn't rip up the script. He softened the edges. He carried the idea forward. He brought his Real Madrid calm to a team with Barcelona's rhythm and Spain's new belief. At the 2010 World Cup, Spain didn't start like champions. They lost their first match to Switzerland, 1-0. And suddenly, the old Spain was back in the room. All the old ghosts, all the old jokes, all the old fear that the beautiful machine could be stopped by one mistake, one blocked lane, one bad night. But Spain recovered. Honduras 2-0, Chile 2-1. Then the knockout rounds became a one-goal ritual. Portugal in the round of 16, David Villa scores, Spain win 1-0. Paraguay in the quarterfinal, penalties saved, chaos in both boxes. Villa again, Spain win 1-0. Germany in the semi-final, Carles Puyol rises like a centre-back fired from a cannon. Spain win 1-0. That is the part we sometimes forget. Spain's 2010 World Cup was not a festival of goals. It was a festival of control. 7 matches, only 8 goals scored, 2 conceded, 4 straight knockout wins by 1 goal. This was tiki-taka with steel underneath. Now the Netherlands. If Spain were trying to escape the label of underachiever, the Dutch were trying to escape something more poetic and more painful. The Netherlands had changed football without winning the World Cup. In the early 1970s, Dutch club football exploded. Feyenoord won the European Cup in 1970. Ajax won it in 71, 72 and 73. Then the national team took that language to the 1974 World Cup. Total football. Johan Cruyff, Rinus Michels, players rotating, pressing, exchanging positions, treating the pitch as geometry. They reached the 1974 final in Munich and scored before West Germany had touched the ball, and lost. In 1978, they reached another World Cup final, this time in Buenos Aires, but without Cruyff, and lost again. The Netherlands did get their moment in 1988. Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, Frank Rijkaard, Ronald Koeman, PSV, Ajax, and Milan Energy all feeding one orange team. They beat the Soviet Union 2-0 in Munich. Van Basten scored that volley, the impossible angle, the goal that still looks like a physics error. Euro 1988 remains the Netherlands' one major men's international trophy, but the World Cup kept resisting them. By 2010, this was not the dreamy, purely romantic Dutch team of the 1970s. Bert van Marwijk's Netherlands were sharper, harder, more pragmatic. Wesley Sneijder was coming off a treble season with Inter. Arjen Robben was terrifying when fit. Robin van Persie led the line. Dirk Kuyt worked like a machine. Mark van Bommel and Nigel de Jong gave the midfield bite. Giovanni van Bronckhorst captained the side. Martin Stekelenburg was in goal. And the route was strong. The Dutch won all three group games. They beat Slovakia in the round of 16. They came from behind to beat Brazil in the quarterfinal. They beat Uruguay in the semifinal. Before the tournament, Spain were ranked second in the world, the Netherlands fourth. So this final was not a surprise pairing. It was two elite teams meeting at the summit. But it was also the first World Cup final since 1978 in which neither finalist had won the World Cup before. Someone was going to become world champion for the first time. Now, the final itself. Was it kind of boring? Yes and no. If you wanted a flowing classic, no. This was not 1970 Brazil-Italy, nor 1986 Argentina-West Germany, or 2022 Argentina-France. It was tense, broken, tactical, ugly at times, but boring is too easy, because this match had pressure everywhere. Spain wanted rhythm. The Netherlands wanted to disrupt it. Howard Webb was the referee, and within 30 minutes the final already felt like it was tilting toward a disciplinary case study. Robin van Persie booked, Carles Puyol booked, Mark van Bommel booked, Sergio Ramos booked. Then Nigel de Jong plants his studs into Xabi Alonso's chest. Yellow card, not red. That moment becomes one of the images of the final. Spanish possession meeting Dutch violence. Or, if you are kinder to the Netherlands, Dutch desperation meeting Spanish control. But the Netherlands also had the clearest chances. Arjen Robben, 62nd minute, through on goal. 1-against-1 with Iker Casillas. Casillas gets the smallest touch with his foot, a save by a toe, maybe the save of his life. Then Robben gets another chance later, shoulder to shoulder with Puyol, angry that no foul is called, still unable to beat Casillas. Spain have chances too. Sergio Ramos early, David Villa close, Cesc Fabregas in extra time. But the longer it goes, the more the final becomes a test of patience. And then, 109th minute, John Heitinga, already booked, pulls down Iniesta. Second yellow. Red. The Netherlands are down to 10. So now Spain push. And in the 116th minute, the moment comes. The ball moves from Fernando Torres into the middle. A Dutch clearance doesn't fully clear. Cesc Fabregas gathers it. He sees Iniesta on the right side of the box. Iniesta takes one touch. Then the right-footed half volley, low, across Stekelenburg. Goal. Spain 1, Netherlands 0. And Iniesta takes off his shirt. Underneath, written on the white t-shirt, is the message. Dani Jarque, siempre con nosotros. Dani Jarque, always with us. Jarque, the Espanyol captain, had died suddenly in 2009. Iniesta's tribute turns the winning goal into something more than a national moment. It becomes personal grief, friendship, and memory placed at the center of the biggest match in the world. Iniesta is booked for removing his shirt. Of course he is. By the end, the match has produced 14 yellow cards, 9 for the Netherlands, 5 for Spain, plus Heitinga's red, a record number of bookings for World Cup final. Final whistle. Spain are world champions. The Netherlands are runners-up again, and Iker Casillas lifts the trophy. But so what? For Spain, this wasn't the end of the golden age. It was the middle. In 2008, they won the European Championship. In 2010, they won the World Cup. And in 2012, they destroyed Italy 4-0 in the Euro final, became the first team to win 3 consecutive major international tournaments, Euro, World Cup, Euro. That is the summit. No men's national team had ever done exactly that. Football doesn't let empires end gently. In 2014, Spain arrived in Brazil as defending world champions and went straight into the Netherlands. Salvador. Spain score first. Then Robben van Persie flies. That header. The equalizer that looks like a superhero dive. Then Robben runs and runs and runs. Netherlands 5, Spain 1. A revenge match 4 years after Johannesburg, but also something larger. The end of an era on live television. Spain then lose 2-0 to Chile and went out in the group stage. The champions were gone before the knockout rounds. And yet, Spain didn't disappear. That is the deeper point. The 2008 to 2012 team ended, but Spanish football stayed near the top. They won the UEFA Nations League in 2023. They won Euro 2024, becoming European champions for a record 4th time. And as this episode goes out, Spain are still alive at the 2026 World Cup, coming off a quarterfinal against Belgium yesterday. Another reminder that Spain's rise was not only a golden generation. It became an ecosystem. New players, new coaches, new shapes, same expectation. Spain should compete for everything. For the Netherlands, the story remains more complicated. Since 2010, they have stayed close to the summit without adding the trophy. In 2014, they finished third at the World Cup after hammering Spain, pushing Argentina to penalties in the semi-final and beating Brazil 3-0 in the third-place match. Then came the crash. No Euro 2016, no World Cup 2018. Then renewal. Virgil van Dijk, Frenkie de Jong, Memphis Depay, and Cody Gakpo. A Nations League final in 2019. A World Cup quarterfinal in 2022, lost to Argentina on penalties after that wild, late Wout Weghorst comeback. A Euro 2024 semi-final, lost late to England. And now, in 2026, Netherlands are out again, beaten by Morocco on penalties in the new round of 32. That is the Dutch paradox. They are too good to be a nearly nation in ordinary terms. 3 World Cup finals, a European Championship, generations of tactical influence. Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, Cruyff, Michels, Van Basten, Rijkaard, Bergkamp, Robben, Schneider and Van Dijk. And yet, the men's trophy cabinet is still surprisingly small. Euro 1988 stands almost alone. Maybe that is why 2010 hurt so much. Because the Netherlands were not simply trying to win a match, they were trying to finally turn influence into the World Cup. Spain got there instead. Before we go, 3 things to take away from July 11, 2010. First, Spain's World Cup was not just tiki-taka romance. It was control under stress. 4 knockout wins by 1-0, possession as defense, patience as violence. Second, the Netherlands did not lose because they lacked stars. Sneijder, Robben, Van Persie, Van Bommel, De Jong and Van Bronckhorst were elite. But the final showed the cost of turning disruption into identity. And third, Iniesta's goal belongs to 2 histories at once. It gave Spain their first World Cup, and with the message to Dani Jarque, it turns the coldest possible football moment, a late extra-time winner in a brutal final, into something human. On this day in 2010, Spain beat the Netherlands 1-0 after extra time in Johannesburg. Andres Iniesta scored in the 116th minute. Spain became world champions for the first time. The Netherlands lost their 3rd World Cup final, and football's most patient team finally found the one opening it needed. That's all for episode 253 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Lost Guy. I have a favor to ask of you. Please rate the show 5 stars so it can keep climbing the charts and we can welcome new listeners to OTD. Tomorrow, we go to July 12, 1998, Paris, France, Brazil, Ronaldo's mysterious afternoon, Zidane's 2 headers, and the night the hosts won the World Cup. See you then.